Right, so we are recording. Welcome to our second online emotional freedom technique session with amazing Hayley.
Hello.
As she shall always be known now, Hayley the Great. We ran a session a week ago. We were just saying, we can't believe it's already been a week. Bonkers. Life in quarantine is bonkers. And it was beautiful, and we had amazing feedback from all the people that joined. So as we said at the time, we wanted this to be a weekly event, and we've also put on this whole online program now with yoga. There's vinyasa flow, yin yoga, meditation, and nidra, and the plan is to be offering those for the next month, so for the month of April with a smidge of March. And it's just really, I guess, an offering from Soulshine to our community, and our community is anyone who wants to be part of it. So we just want to support you during these uncertain times with the practices that we know and believe in so deeply, and also just this space of community, which is so nurturing and nourishing, not just for each of you, but for us as well. Just coming together is really, I personally found it really supportive. So that's just the news update from Soulshine. Everything we're running, we're recording, and then it's going on to our YouTube channel. We've got all snazzy. So all the programs from the last week are already up on there. You should have just received an email with the link to that, and you'll be able to watch things back. So for something like the EFT, I think that's going to be super helpful, because whilst you get used to the practice, you're going to be able to come back and listen to it with Hayley, who's teaching you. So it's going to really help with that integration. Hayley's session, we are asking, we want to make these things available, but if you wish, donations would be really gratefully received. There is information in the emails that you registered with as to how you can do that. It's super easy through PayPal. If that is confusing in any way, just message us. But if you can't, that's fine, but the offering is there. As you said, we want to make this accessible as possible. And then final housekeeping, important, just to check that your hands have all been washed, because we're going to be tapping the face, and in the spirit of health and safety, and with everything going on and being aware of our faces, just making sure that our hands are super clean. Or if you don't feel comfortable using those points, then that's fine. Hayley will explain that as well. So I think that's it. I'm going to join in with you guys fully today. I'm just here to enjoy this process, and I'm going to hand over to Hayley the Great. Over to you, darling. I'm going to mute myself for now.
Okay, thank you. So yes, just to run over with the hands parts, for anybody that knows EFT already, it does involve pressing, tapping on these points on our face as well. But if I'm going to be, when I'm leading through that section, for anybody that doesn't feel comfortable with doing that, you can just stay at this top part of your head, and then you can join us here as well. So it's completely up to you. I just wanted to leave it in because I think this will be, the washing hands is always encouraged at all times. I think it's important to have it in here, so you have the choice. And there's one other thing I was going to mention as well. If you come down to the bottom of your screen, there's this little box. You might have to move the cursor, called chat. And so if you click on that, it brings up a side part, a panel. And I just wanted to highlight it now, because as we're going through, I'm going to be asking for your for a little bit of feedback from you at times. And this is because even though we may not be together within a workshop kind of space, we are kind of building, there is a bit of a collective that we've got going on here, and we've all come into this with a similar kind of understanding of where we are and what we're going to be working on, and therefore that kind of helps us set this intention. So by doing that, we create this little bit of a community. And so when we have these chat options, it's a way really for you to be able to share a little bit about what you may be feeling, or look at what other people are sharing and use it to help to support you as well. And also it really helps me, because I can only go by what I know about myself. So if you're able to share a little bit just occasionally, it helps to prompt me and for me to guide the session a little bit more clearly. So for anybody that wants to know a bit more about, myself and Soulla, there's a reason that we both love EFT and work with EFT, and that's because the tapping has helped to support us so hugely in both of our health issues and within our lives. So if you would like to know more about that, there is the video, as she said, that's up on YouTube. Also on my website, I have a bit more about my own story. Also, because I don't want to go too much into that today. Also, in last week's session, we spoke maybe a bit more about the science of EFT and a bit more about the whole subject of EFT as well. So I'm just going to touch on that briefly, so you have a bit of an understanding. But if you want to know more, again, you can go back to last week's recording, yeah, just to find out a little bit more about it. So EFT, I'll give you a little bit of a brief overview for it. EFT is an emotional freedoms technique, which is tapping, and it's called tapping because we are tapping on these points on our face and on our body. Yeah, but they aren't just any points that we're tapping on. These are actually the end of meridian lines. So EFT works with ancient Chinese medicine, but also kind of modern day psychology. So we're working with tapping at the end of these meridian points, which within Chinese medicine, meridian lines are this flow of energy within your body, this chi energy, and this flow of energy is the way that we know how well we are. It kind of supports us. We have stuck or stagnant energy within the body. It can create this dis-ease or this unrest or this unwellness that we may experience, both in our physical body but also within our mind. So when we are tapping, we are allowing this flow to come back in, really. We're allowing this stress to release. We're allowing that cloud to kind of to release, so that we can allow the energy to move a little bit more clearly, helping us to have a clearer mindset just in that. Yeah.
I just wanted to add something in then, if I may, Hayley,
Yeah.
because yesterday quite a few of the people here joined for yin yoga. And just to give a bit of context, I think that can be helpful sometimes. We worked with the kidney and urinary bladder meridian yesterday in our yin practice, because that specifically works with that fear. And so it's just giving that context of all the different ways that we can actually work with this meridian system and the potency of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for self-healing and self-soothing. Yes. So just wanted to interrupt, and yes, for those that practiced yoga yesterday, just to bring that context as well.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's why I love it, actually, because it does come back to this kind of this ancient, this Chinese medicine, this ancient way of understanding this, how the body and the mind and this flow of energy enables us to stay within a well place within our body, a well harmonious place within our body and within our mind. But then with EFT, we're bringing in, we're not just tapping, we're not just, randomly tapping, we're actually bringing in words, and we're bringing in words that are specific to the state that we're in that moment. Yeah, the emotional state or the experience that we may be having within that moment. And it's this joint working of both of these that seems to create this really potent and kind of transformational experience when you're working through it. So I'll show you the tapping points now, and then I'll come into our subject, and so we can explore that a little bit more. So the tapping points are, and so again, I'm going to show you by tapping on my face, and if you don't wish to tap on your face, you stay here, and then you'll join me when I get to here. So these are the tapping points. So the top of the head, and then just here, where the eyebrow meets the kind of nose bit here, this edge of this eyebrow, so here, the side of the eye, and you can come in and join me in the tapping just so you know, the side of the eye by the eyebrow. Then we come underneath the eye. We come under the nose and above the lip, and then we come to the little dippy point in the lip here, and then we come to the chest. So I was just tapping my right hand. You can tap with your left or you can tap with both, yeah? So just down here, down from the collarbone bit and just in here. So you can tap like this or sometimes like that, like whole-handed, yeah? You're kind of hitting this whole area. Then we come underneath the arm. So in the bra strap for ladies, or you're about a hand's width underneath. So you can tap like that, or one hand, other hand, yeah? Then we come to the finger points. And this is where the nail bed kind of, the cuticle bed touches the nail, so here. And the same on each finger. Now the pressure is enough that you can feel it, yeah, but it's not like you're, you know, trying to dig a hole. And the number of counts per tap, you don't need to count the numbers. We always say, they say a rough 5 to 7, but actually, I think it's often more than that. It can often be about 10. And that is because we tend to be guided as we move to each point. We're guided by coming into a new statement, yeah, a new set of wording. And so sometimes that may be that we'll be here for 7 taps roughly, and other times for 12, depending on what we're saying. And that will come a little bit more clear as we move on, explaining in a little bit more detail. This tapping, let me just explain a little bit more about the tapping, then we'll come to the stress. So the other thing about the tapping is that actually sends a calming response to the amygdala. And the amygdala is what is what's in control of our fight, flight, or freeze responses. And these are essentially our survival responses. And they're triggered because they're stress responses. So what we're finding now is that, especially in this moment we're in at the minute, we are at a heightened level of stress. So we're triggered into more stressful experiences. So your body is in a fight, flight, or freeze response so often, kept at this kind of full up level, which almost means that we get so used to being in these states of anxiety, or these states of kind of being triggered, and we'll find ourselves responding angrily or more emotionally to certain situations, or things will be triggering us a lot more because we're kind of in this higher state of anxiety. So the tapping just sends this response to this area of the brain, like it's okay, you know, even if you're not saying anything often, it's just like a soothing that kind of goes to this part and allows us to kind of come back to where we are, and also to release that miss. So I think when we tap on here, it feels like it's, to me, we let off a bit of steam. So it's almost like you have that top level response, you let off a bit of steam, and then you're like, okay, so you can kind of get underneath it a little bit. And just tapping here helps to release what seems so big and so something you couldn't get around before. It just helps it to feel a little bit more manageable. And that's because, yeah, this, like I said, the stress responses, the stressful experiences we're in are pretty great right now. And stress is a really big word, yeah. So I kind of call this stress and anxious feelings, but that could be panic or worry or any of those things that you might be feeling as an individual. Because although we have this collective, great big collective experience, and it's, you know, it's pretty stressful, as an individual, the way that you experience that stress will be different for all of you, yeah, and what stresses you will be different. So what I mean by that is that for me, it may be, my stress may be, I'm not actually worried about getting this coronavirus. I'm actually worried about my financial situation. And that will be triggered by me seeing posts about financial crisis, posts by other people about their financial worries. Whereas, and that will come out, within me in a feeling in my stomach, like a butterfly feeling, or a cold hands, or a bit of a headache. And then for somebody else who may be more in a different financial situation, or maybe has had health complaints, the fear of actually contracting this virus may be so overwhelming for them, and that's because of their own experience that's going on, or an experience they may have had at a different point in their life that makes them concerned. And then their focus is on the number of people that have died, whereas this person here doesn't focus on that, and that one does. But we're all under the same banner, but yeah, we're all having our own experiences. And when it's quite an intense experience like this, we can become quite quite involved within those as well. So we almost can't, because it's such a heightened experience, we almost can't really understand where someone else is coming from, because ours seems so intense, and because there's so much noise going on, we're triggered into this so often. So this is the magic of EFT, is that it really helps to, wherever you are and wherever your moment you're triggered in, whether it's in a conversation with somebody or whether it's reading something, you can come into this practice to help to level you back out again and get a bit of a clearer sight and defuzz the mind just from that moment, so that you're able to think a little bit more clearly about it. So what I will do now is I'm going to lead you through the EFT technique. But before I do that, what would be great is maybe we could use this as a time, as I was speaking then just about those two different experiences that anyone's having. If anyone would maybe like to share what theirs is, or is there a particular area, maybe it might be the fear of isolation or the fear of spending time with people, or money, or will my job be there at the end, and how that maybe that experience shows up for you as well. Isolation and loneliness, yeah. That's quite a big one for a lot of people, isn't it? Even for me, I like spending time by myself, but the thought of this being for a long time, and actually thinking about some of my friends that are in that situation, so many things to people coming near me, yeah, interesting. I haven't really seen anybody to go near them, so I don't even know whether that's a worry for me or not. Anxiety about the whole situation, yeah. So it's like almost I don't actually know what I need to think about. There's just so much, and it's so intense. And job to go back to, yeah. Enough of my child at home, yeah. So all different, and the thing is that they're real, aren't they? Like, and we don't have any answers at the minute, so it's very easy for someone to say don't stress, but then we don't actually know, because we're in this kind of great unknown of it all, that it can almost feel like we don't really know what we can use as a reference point. But this is where the EFT comes in. So I'm really pleased you shared this, because this is going to be a point that you can tune into as we're working through the sequence. So EFT works with, there's three kind of parts to working with EFT and through the EFT sequence. The first part is the tuning in, where we tune into the problem. So we're going to go a bit more in depth in a moment into this. Tuning in, giving the problem or situation like characteristics, I suppose. We look at the intensity, we look at the actual emotion or emotions, we feel into it, into our body. Where is that right now? Because you will maybe feel it in your tummy, or maybe it might even be an ache in your knee, that niggling ache in your knee. And then we'll maybe look at, does it have any colours, or does it have any sharp edges, or is it flat or round, those kind of things. So you've created this, you've tuned into this problem that you have. And so we then use that tuning in, and we come to our setup statement. And for that we use the side of the hand. And this is known as the karate chop point, because we look like we're karate chopping on it. But it's also actually the point of acceptance. Yeah, and it's this point of, I am where I am with what I'm feeling, yeah. And it's, we call it the point of acceptance, because we use this setup statement. So it says, even though, and then you then fill in this in-between part with whatever the aspects that you've just tuned into. So I'll give you an example. Even though I have this anxiety in my stomach, and it feels about an 8 out of 10 intensity, it feels quite sharp and jaggedy, yeah. So that's the tuned in section in the middle, and then we close it with this moment of acceptance. So it might be, I accept that I feel this way, or it might be, I can find peace in this moment. Even though I have all of this, I can find peace and ease in this moment. Or even though I love and I accept the place that I'm in now. It's going to be okay. And I'll be guiding you through this when we're actually leading through, prompting you. And then we then go through the rounds and we take all of those aspects of that middle part of the sandwich and we use them. So this blue anxiety, yeah, all this anxiety that I feel in my stomach, it's a bit spiky and sharp. This 8 anxiety can feel quite overwhelming. All this 8 anxiety, all this 8 anxiety. So you can see I'm tuning into these different aspects of it, yeah, as I tap through the points, and I'm using each of those phrases and each of those sentences to move me on to the next section, the next tapping point that I have here. So we do 2 rounds, then we then come back, we take a breath and we tune back in again. So how does that feel right now? We tune back in, using new information that we have. Maybe it's gone up in the scale, or maybe it's gone down, or it's changed colour. Maybe it's not anxiety, it's just, you know, it's worry, and actually I'm quite scared. So I'll use that wording, and I'll use that wording, and then I'll use that for each of the points. Okay, so there's an example, and what I'll be doing is I will be leading you through it. So I'll be guiding you all the time, but in those the tapping points, I'll be saying things like, even though I feel all this, and then you lead by saying out loud, oh, you know, wherever you are, whatever the emotion is, this anxiety, it's about a 6, 7, and you'll say the number. It feels a bit like, and it's got this colour, and then you can use your own words. And if you ever get stuck or lost, you just come back and you follow me again, and you might repeat what I'm saying, and then you might be able to tune back in to the way that to the specifics of what you're experiencing. So we're going to do a couple of rounds together. We're going to do more than a couple of rounds together throughout, but we're going to come into a few rounds together. Follow me, really come into this, yeah, really allow yourself to be creative and tune into the way that you're feeling and you're thinking. Really trust yourself, because the more that you can fall into this in this moment, while I'm supporting you as well, make it so much easier for you to keep using this at home. Okay, so
Hayley, can I just ask something, yeah, or mention something whilst you have a chance to have a sip of water as well?
Yeah.
We mentioned this last week, and again, it's just something I'm curious about, because all of you are on mute, so you don't need to worry about us hearing you, but it's something about the power of actually speaking the words out loud as well, and how that can help. It's not a necessary part of the process, but how it can actually support the process.
Yes. Yeah, I remember, yeah, we did. So yeah, so of course, and I can touch on this after as well, about how to work with EFT when you're in those moments where you're having a bit of a sneaky tap, I suppose. You don't want to say it too much out loud, but for sure in this moment, so if you're with people, you prefer to have this as more of a private experience of expressing how you feel, you can do this silently in the mind, absolutely. And there's definitely a time and place for both. There's something about saying it out loud that does allow you to have this extra moment of recognition, and also, like, I hear myself, you know, I hear this is how I feel. And that's something that's really powerful about this, that even though I feel overwhelmed, like this is so big, what you're doing is admitting that you feel that way, and there's something about expressing it vocally as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretending it's all right, but it's not. I feel up to here with it all. Okay, I accept this is how I feel. There you go, you know, even though, so if you are with other people, and you prefer to speak in this moment now, like what happens, you prefer to say it in your head, and of course you can do that, but definitely, you know, if you can, you feel comfortable, say how it is that you're feeling as well. Allow each of you to be in that own moment with your experience. Yeah.
Thanks, Hayley.
Okay, so let's all come in. Let me just see if there's anything. Okay, I work in the hospital. Wow, yeah.
I just want to say, yay, Helen,
yeah,
for your work.
In fact, I don't have to at the moment. Yeah. Okay, so as I've been leading you through that round, you may actually have had a little bit more of an awareness of how it is that you're feeling. But what I'd like to do first of all is just all to find a comfortable seat, closing our eyes and taking a breath in through the nose and deeply out through the mouth. Maybe bringing your hands up to your heart. As we just set the intention that while we're in this space, you're able to really clear away, really just allow that tension to release. We're not coming in, we're here to allow ourselves to feel a little bit more clearer and at ease. So taking another deep breath in. And if at any time anyone does feel maybe a little bit overwhelmed, with how you're feeling, or maybe a memory comes up or you feel this is a bit much, you simply open your eyes, you come back to your hands on your heart, and you take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. You could gently tap as well on certain points. You could place your feet on the floor or the hands on the floor to ground yourself in, So you can come back into that space if you feel it might be getting a little bit overwhelming for you. But in general, with what we're covering now, this is just a really great experience at clearing away this top layer of this overwhelm that we're all feeling. Okay, so just tuning in to how it is that you feel. What is that emotion? Is it fear? Is it worry? Is it panic? Is it that I'm just scared? If you can be a bit more specific, then do be. Is it that you are scared of being so alone? Or is it you are fearful about money? But if you're not in that place, that's fine. Just go with the emotion. And then tuning into that in your body, with a 10 being off the scale, really high, and a 0 absolutely fine. What number would you give that emotion? While you notice that emotion and you notice the intensity, just notice where it is that you feel that in your body. The legs, in your stomach or your chest, maybe a few places. And while you're there and you're noticing where it is there anything else that you can notice about it? Does it have a colour? Does it have a feeling like a warmth to it? Spiky or sharp, or is it round or square? So as you notice all of these different aspects, just come to tapping on the side of your hand, so this karate chop point. Okay, now you've tuned in and you're aware of how it is that you're feeling specifically. So you're going to use this in-between this sandwich setup that we're doing. So saying out loud if you can, even though I have this blue anxiety in my stomach, saying whatever words you feel, and its intensity is about a whatever out of 10, and it feels a little, so any colours or shapes or warmth or anything to it, and it's in this part of my body, it's okay. I accept that I feel it now, even though I have this emotion within my body and it's in my, wherever you can feel it. It's pretty intense, it's about a whatever out of 10. And it has these edges or it has this colour. It's okay because I feel a lot safer now. Even though I have this overwhelming emotion, I have this intense emotion, this feeling that I'm feeling. And just name it. It's okay. I accept that I feel it. And I accept that I can feel a bit more at peace now. So coming to the top of the head, this intense emotion. side of the eye, these intense emotions that I'm feeling. Yeah, it's felt quite overwhelming at times. Sometimes it feels under the eye, feels like it takes over. Other times under the nose, it's a bit more at ease, to the chin, and then suddenly it hits me. I thought I was okay, and then there it is, to the chest. This emotion that I'm feeling, and I can feel it now. Under the arm, I can feel it now. Yeah, it's about a, whatever it is out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. To the finger, to the thumb, this intense emotion. It's got this colour to it. This blue anxiety that I'm feeling in my stomach. About a 7 out of 10. And it can feel really intense. Yeah. Top of the head, it's weird to tune into it now. I was a bit nervous to the eyebrow about doing that. Yeah, about tuning into it. Just because under the eye, at times it can feel really overwhelming. But I feel safer now. This emotion that I'm feeling, or all these emotions that I'm feeling. To the chest, this emotion that I'm feeling. All this stuff going on under the arm, there is a lot. And this is not the only way that I feel. I feel overwhelmed by a lot. Gosh, don't get me started on money. Or feeling alone. Don't get me started on my health. God, I don't want to touch on that subject. Ooh, there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to think about. Okay, coming to the side of the hand. Back to the karate chop hand, taking a breath in through the nose, closing the eyes, out through the mouth. Just tune into that again. How does it feel? What's the intensity for you now? Has it gone up or down? Notice the number. Yeah. And how different does it feel? Is it a different emotion? Did it change as you were tapping? Maybe it's the same. Has the shape or size changed for you? Tune into that for a moment. And now we're going to use that again to start tapping through. Okay, so coming back here and tuning in. Even though I have this anxiety in my stomach, this fear, this worry. Yeah, it's been pretty intense. But it's okay. I accept that I feel it now. Even though I have all these feelings in my body, there is so much to think about. But at the minute, I feel it about a 4 out of 10 in my stomach. It's okay. Yeah, I'm okay that I feel it actually. It's all right. And even though I feel this intense emotion, it feels a bit overwhelming. It's okay, because I can take a breath now and feel a little safer. So this top of the head, this intense emotion. Name that emotion for yourself. How are you feeling? This intensity, it's about a 6 out of 10. Name your number, side of the eye. Yeah, it's a blue colour, a red colour. Say it out loud if you can. This blue anxiety in my stomach. Really name it, get into it. Close your eyes if you can. Top of the lip, this intensity. Onto the chin, these intense emotions. So much to think about. There's a lot, and there is so much noise. Sometimes I'm tired just trying to ignore people, ignoring what everyone else is writing on Facebook, ignoring what the newspapers have said. Back to the fingers, ignoring what the newspapers are saying, what social media is saying. That's a job in itself. Knowing what I need to filter out, actually. What do I need to be worried about? Because there is so much. Yeah. The next to the ring finger, there's so much to think about that I don't know what I should be thinking about. What should I feel worried about? this feeling that I have right now, this feeling in my stomach, this intense emotion. Yeah, side of the eyebrow, this intense emotion that I have. It's a lot because I don't know, where should I place my worry? Surely I should be anxious about something. It would feel weird to not feel anxious. Yeah, it doesn't feel safe to not feel worried or scared because it's so real. All this noise, I'm reminded all the time. Text messages, newspapers, Facebook statuses. And it makes me feel this way, this emotion that I'm feeling. Tune in and name that emotion, name that intensity. Yeah. I feel I should be scared. Yeah. It feels a bit weird to not feel worried. I shouldn't let this pass. I must be on guard. I must be on guard. I must be prepared. Yeah. This intense emotions. I must be on guard. I must be prepared. Yeah, all these emotions that I feel, these emotions that I've felt, these emotions in my body. So coming back now, back to the karate chop point, taking a breath in and just tuning in for a moment. So how does that feel for you now? How has that moved or changed? If anyone can, it would be great if you had the time to, just to share in the box. Has the emotion shifted? Have you become a little clearer? Has it released a little bit for you? Yeah. Has it moved from anxiety? Keep tapping on the bottom of your hand as well if you're not commenting, that's fine. I feel a bit calmer. Nice. Yeah. And I think sometimes when we're so stressed, is that the idea, I'll explore this a bit more in a while, the idea of feeling calm is, we must feel stressed actually, because the idea of feeling calm is like we're letting our guard down a little bit too much. Drop from a 7 to a 5. Amazing, amazing. So important, yeah, to rate your state. This is one of the key points with EFT, because otherwise you could have walked away and said it doesn't really matter, because the ego will start to tell us it hasn't really made much difference, because it starts to feel that change. Or the mind says, oh no, it's not really working, but it has. It's dropped by 2. Yeah, and you've done that just through a couple of rounds of tapping. Okay, so let's come in again. So now you feel a little bit more at ease. Yeah, really start bringing in those words, really tune into this. So coming back into this space, coming back to the karate chop here at the side of the hand, taking a breath in. Where do you feel that now? What emotion is that? And can you maybe even tune in? What is it a bit more specifically? Is it worry about money? Is it worry about health? Yeah. And where do you feel that? Just follow that just a little bit more. Where do you feel it in your body? Yeah. Has it gone from a big ball to a tiny dot, but it's still there? And how intense is that out of 10? So really giving it all of these different aspects, okay? So even though I feel this intense emotion, it's still there. It's worked a little bit, but it's still there. But it's okay. I can allow myself this time to relax. Even though I feel this emotion in my body, and it still feels quite intense. Yeah, it's still got a good high number. It's about a 4 or 5 out of 10. It's okay. Yeah, I'm pleased that I showed up tonight to this, even though I have this intense emotion. It's in my stomach, my chest. It's blue, it's red. Yeah, it's been quite intense. It's okay. I accept that I feel it, and I love and accept myself anyway. Top of the head, closing your eyes if you can through this, and being guided by me as I prompt you with each new word to move on to the next point. All right, so these intense emotions, all these intense emotions, right now I feel it really presently in my stomach, in my chest, and it feels quite intense. The number is about a 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this intense emotion. Wow, it's so overwhelming. It's so much. Because although I feel better now, I've noticed there's a difference. Just got more to worry about tomorrow. That worries me a little bit. Worries me letting my guard down a little bit. Onto the fingers. Worries me that little bit. But I do feel some relief. Do feel some release from these intense emotions. I still feel it though, a little bit. And then name these emotions. Run through where you feel it in your body. Tapping on the top of the head. This anxiety, this stress, this scaredness about money. To the eyebrow point, it feels about a 6, 7, 8 out of 10. Yeah, and I really feel it in this part of my body. I recognize I feel it under the eye. I recognize that I feel that emotion. Yeah, I give myself the space to feel that emotion. Under the nose, onto the chin, I recognize that I feel it. It's okay. It's okay, I've been trying to feel better. Yeah, maybe not feel into it too much. To the chest. Yeah, this intense emotion that I feel. It's okay that I felt that. Yeah, I'm a human being. I'm trying to find my way through it. Support other people and be supportive. To the fingers. I'm trying to not scare other people with my worries, but at the same time, yeah, recognize how I feel. A bit of a minefield at times. It's okay, I'm in a space now. Yeah, I can feel into it a bit more. So this emotion that I feel in my body, these emotions that I feel in my body. Okay, taking a breath in. Where do you feel that now? How has it changed for you? Just feeling into that. Okay. Has anyone noticed a level has decreased? Okay, nice. Has anyone noticed that the emotion has changed for them? Yeah, that almost they're in a different place, or they realize that it's come from a different, that it's been fed by a different thing, that, you know, maybe it is the fear, the overwhelming fear was actually this worry about being alone or anything. Just to see if there's been a bit more clarity for anybody there. Anyone, you can keep tapping as well on the side of your hand. Definitely feel calmer, and levels went from a 7 to a 3. That's really big. You know, we've only been here for about 15 minutes, so tight, and it has been released. Amazing. The emotion changed for me. Amazing. So this helps us to get a bit more clearer, yeah? What might have felt overwhelming and too much at the beginning, and now becomes, okay, I can see where this is coming from, and I can have a bit more of an observer's way of looking at it. Okay, so let's come in to another round, and we're really going to focus in on this, yeah, and then I'm going to lead us into an EFT story, I suppose. I'm going to lead us to bring in some positive EFT to kind of close this space that you're in. And so I'll encourage you to follow my words, saying them out loud, but also to bring in anything else that you feel you may need, yeah, in that moment. Because I really want to encourage you to be able to use this at home creatively as well. So let's come into this last little part of this round. Really tune in. Yeah, feel a bit safer about going into that. Yeah, now we've come this far. Yeah, do you feel, yeah, how different does it feel for you? Can I just explore that a little bit more? What is that emotion, and where does it come from? You know, what is it really about? It's safe to feel that now. So even though I feel this intense, I once felt this intense emotion, it feels a bit calmer, but I'd like to release that last little bit, this feeling I have. Yeah, it's okay, because I accept that I still have something left, even though I have this feeling within my body, just a little bit, but it's still there. It's okay. Yeah, I take a breath and I feel into it a little bit more, even though I feel this feeling. Yeah, And I recognize I feel this feeling. It feels good to finally feel this feeling. Because it's okay. I love and accept myself through all of this anyway. This feeling that I'm feeling, it has changed for me. Top of the head, this feeling that I'm feeling. Coming to the side of the eye, it has changed. But it's still there. Yeah, it's still there, just a little bit. And it feels about 2 or 3 out of 10. It hasn't quite gone. So maybe this doesn't work completely. Under the nose one. Maybe it does actually, because I felt some change. From all this intensity, it's definitely helped me to feel a little bit safer about being in my body. And onto the chest, this feeling that I'm feeling. I still feel it in my stomach, in my chest, and it's about under the armpits. It's about just a little bit, 2, 3 out of 10, but it's still there. But I've helped me get a bit more specific into this emotion, onto the fingers, this feeling that I'm feeling. Yeah, this feeling that I'm feeling. It's still there for me. But in this moment, it's been nice to get some relief from this intensity onto the top of the head, all these intense emotions. I mean, maybe they'll rise again tomorrow. Something else may trigger me. Maybe they won't. Not as much anyway. Just allowing myself to experience this moment of release. Realizing that it's safe to, under the nose, it's safe actually to feel safe. Felt like I had to be on guard. So much deflection. Yeah. Trying to keep myself safe all the time. Not knowing what to listen to. What should make me vigilant? What should make me fearful under the arms? I don't know where to go. But in this moment, it feels a little bit more at ease. Onto the fingers, it feels a little bit more at ease. Yeah, I know how to judge things, and I trust my judgment through all of this. I also trust that I can actually feel at ease. The world won't fall apart. Yeah, that me feeling fearful won't actually stop the world. Yeah, stop this situation. Maybe it's better for me to find these points of calm. Top of the head, if I can. So I give myself permission to feel that worry and anxiety at times when it's needed, to be aware, but maybe not to fall into it as much. Yeah, side of the eye, it's like it's safer for me to find calm, maybe for me to be the voice of reason. Yeah, or me not to respond actually. I don't need to respond to everything. To find a point of ease amongst all this madness, to find a point of still. Yeah, it's okay to feel like that. Yeah, if one person can be the calming factor, maybe that could be me. If I stay calm, then other people might be able to just feel that off of me. I don't need to tell everyone how I'm feeling. I could just be calmer. Onto the fingers. Maybe I could just be a little calmer. Then others might notice. Maybe that might help them too. But maybe it might help me because I'll see that the world doesn't fall apart because I'm not in a place of fear or worry, because I let that go. Yeah, and I could come back into what matters, which is being in this present moment. So I do realize my fear and worry won't bring me more. This fear and worry won't bring me won't protect me, won't bring me this change I'm looking for. It will just take me into more fear and more worry. It's like this circle, this ever repeating loop that I'm on. think I'm tired of being like that throughout this whole isolation. Maybe I'll try something different. Point of calm. And I'll let other people get on with their worry. They can do that. And I'll let the professionals get on with their stuff. Yeah, I'll let the news reporters get on with theirs, and the Facebook reporters get on with theirs, and the medics and the, everyone else, the government, they can get on with all their stuff, and I'll get on with mine, which is to just find a piece of calm in the day, to be that point of peace. Because it doesn't serve me or anyone else to be in panic. It really doesn't bring me into safety. It brings me into more fear and uncertainty. Because I can trust that things are going to change. Top of the head, I can trust that things will change, actually. Things do change quite often. When I find a moment of peace, I can notice those moments of change a little bit more easily, these moments of peace. It was quite nice to feel that moment of peace, maybe calm, ease, whatever it is you're feeling right now, relief. Yeah, this moment of relief was quite nice. It feels like there's space. I have some space to take a breath and to sit just for a minute. My heart feels a little bit more at ease. I have space. That's how I feel now, is I have a bit more space. And in this space, this newfound space, I can really bring in anything I want. Or I could intensify that feeling of peace or calm. The word serenity, maybe I could intensify that just a little bit more. These moments, this moment of relief. As we're tapping now, I want you really to, if you haven't already, close your eyes and notice in what word is that that made you feel that ease. Is it the word ease? Is it calm? Is it peace? Is it space? Space felt good for me. Oh, there's space to feel something else. It felt really nice. Yeah, that calmness, that ease, that relief. Space of relief, of ease. What word is that for you? And what I want you to do is within your body, I want you to notice whereabouts you need to feel that, where you'd like to bring in this feeling, that peace, that calm, that ease. Yeah. And as you're tapping just on the karate chop, I want you to imagine bringing in this feeling. And I want you to imagine this feeling has a colour as well to it. It's pink or it's blue or it's green. I want you to imagine that word and that emotion and that colour coming into this space in your body, and filling that space within your body, lighting up that space within your body. And as it lights up that space within your body, I want you to feel it intensifying. So it moves from this place to throughout the whole of your body. So tapping through the roots as we go through this, it moves, closing your eyes, it moves through this space within your body. It intensifies this feeling of peace and calm. Yeah, it moves down, floats down through your legs and out through the soles of your feet, creating a new foundation, a new groundedness, a new way of experiencing your day-to-day. Feet on the floor anytime you need to come back to this feeling. And it comes back up, floating up through your body, up, out through your heart and through your chest, floating down through your arms and out through your fingertips. So everything that you touch, has the intention of this feeling of peace and calm, whatever this emotion is. And as it floats back up and it moves up from your heart, filling that heart expanse, it moves up through your head and up and out through the third eye, connecting you, enabling you to have that greater vision, and up through the crown of your head, And notice as it does that, as you take a breath in, how your spine lengthens as you connect from your root to your tip with this new feeling, this new intensity of a moment of calm or peace or ease. And as you feel that intensifying, knowing that you can come back to this at any point that you may need to, any time that you feel this overwhelm again, any time you feel those emotions rising, this is the point that you come back to. So taking a deep breath in, holding at the top and feeling that emotion in the body, filling the body, exhaling out through the mouth, taking another deep breath in, knowing that every single cell within the body is lined and filled with this incredible new possibility and way of thinking and feeling. And taking one more deep breath in, holding at the top as it expands out, floating out from you, touching everybody in every place that it needs to, out through your aura, connecting you in a new way of being. And exhale. So placing your hands on your knees, closing your eyes for a moment. Just allowing yourself to experience that for 1 second. I know we're at top of time now, gone so quickly. So thank you everyone for joining. So I can obviously answer any questions that anybody may have, but hopefully that has enabled you to see how you tried out yourself being a bit creative with your language. But also there at the end, we brought in some of those new possibilities, bringing in that new emotion. We cleared away that bleh, and we brought in something else. And this is a point that you can come back to at any time as well that you may feel it. Yeah, I'd be interested if anybody has anything that any way that they felt from that, or any change. What was the new emotion that you maybe brought in? We're sleepy. Good. A good night's sleep. Good night. Someone said that last time, they hadn't slept so well. Yeah, it does. We don't have to go to sleep with all that jumbliness in our heads. And yellow serenity. Heart is less heavy. Good. Nice. Amazing.
So Hayley and her magical ways. Thank you so much. You know, one of the intentions for this session, I guess in a way there's two. One is that we wanted you to have an experience in the session, so you could actually notice the possibility of this practice, and hopefully from what we're seeing, peaceful, calm, super sleepy, relaxed, tired, we're getting that sense of how our experience in that moment can shift. And I guess the secondary intention is we also want you to feel empowered that you can bring this into your life, so you can keep practicing with this. And so for those that have a few moments, and don't worry if you have to leave, because we have come to the top of the hour, I'm just going to run through what I, as someone who taught themselves to do EFT and who's been working with you, would name the stages. And then if you want to add anything into that, Hayley. I'm a Virgo, so everyone who knows me knows I love a list. It's like, if it's got bullet points, I'm happy. So Hayley, I'm saying that you would perhaps come to this either as a regular practice. That's great, because then you can build your foundation to come into it. Or you then might notice there's a moment where there's strong emotion, and in that moment there's the initial noticing and naming, like, can we actually pause and recognize what's here? And when we decide to go into that intention of EFT, then you might look at the color, where it is in the body, the texture, the image. Are there any words associated with that? Rating it, so important. It must be rated, because otherwise you lose your scale on it. You've got no way of judging where you are. The human mind has an ability to just kind of dismiss, doesn't it? Otherwise the shifts in what's happened. And then your setup statement, and I'm just framing it in my kind of language, so I understand it, because I want to know if that's correct for myself more than anything. When we're looking at the setup statement, it's one of both love and approval of ourselves, but there's something about, in that love and approval, it's an acceptance, it's a permission for that feeling to be there. Does that?
Absolutely. So that's the thing. It says, even though you know, I feel this thing. And so often actually with the situations like this is that you you may not have given yourself permission to feel because you're too worried about how showing that to somebody else, or you're too worried about popping that, really. You know, if I go into this, I don't know, like it feels like so super intense if I delve into this fear. So it kind of, you stress yourself even more. You're kept at this top level because you won't allow yourself to, like, this is how I feel, you know. But in that moment, you're safe. We're in this EFT container, even though I feel this feeling and it's super intense, and then as you start to name it, I mean, even I guess the rating your state is, naming the emotion and rating your state are the key parts, because the rating your state stops your mind from allowing you to say it's not really working, which it will, because it feels it is, and then that feels a bit scary and I'm making change. So yes, the rating your state for sure, even though I feel this. And then the end part, which is the, like, I accept that I feel that way, or I take a breath, or I can feel a bit of calmness now. The common statement is, I love and accept myself. But that's often so big, and often, unless you are working maybe with a therapist one-to-one, it can feel a little bit too much to say, and a bit odd. Like, why would I say that I love and accept myself? It kind of feels a little bit too much. So you can say often, I feel safe now, actually. I can be safe in this moment. Because often we don't think that we're safe. So it's like, even though I feel this intense anxiety, I feel safe. I know I can feel safe in this moment. Yeah, so you can close off with those different language. And yeah, and with the tapping points, I was saying, I hope I said this, that it's like a question mark when we're on the face. And so that's my reminder to people, is that we have this EFT setup, yeah, and it's always best to be specific. But if you need to, as people who are learning in this way, just keep exploring, stay open to where this is leading. Like, keep giving yourself a few minutes, even if you put the timer on for 5 minutes and say, I'm just going to spend 5 minutes doing this, and that's how, and build your confidence that way. Because often we come away from these practices that might support us, you know. So.
And in terms of what you're actually saying when you're doing those rounds, Hayley, because I've worked with you, I've been lucky enough to work with you one-on-one, and now in this group space as well. And you have such a beautiful eloquence with your words. And when I do the EFT on my own, I again just want to kind of name that. For me, it was just really naming what I was experiencing. So if I look back at some of the words, you know, I'm scared of infecting someone else, I'm scared of the team not working, you know, it can be quite literal in naming what you're fearing, like I'm scared. And then what I've found doing the practice is, as you do that, and you touched on this earlier, it can start revealing. So the fear of one thing actually might be, to use an extreme one, because I worked with my breath the other day in asthma, like I'm scared I won't be able to breathe and I'll die, or, you know, infecting someone, or I know that when I've worked in other times with my more perfectionist side, it's like I'm fear of abandonment or rejection or judgment. So it can start very much on the level of whatever those thoughts are, almost like journaling, like
and always there's that big mist, the big mist that's there. It's just so intense, and then you're like, okay, and then you're like, okay, I can just see around the corner a little bit, just a little bit, and then you're like, oh right, okay, so it is kind of that actually I'm scared that, you know, I might lose my job, for example. I'm really fearful about that. But then if you start tapping on that, and a way to explore, for example, I might lose my job, is, you know, how is this fear right now going to support me in keeping my job? Like, really, if I'm terrified right now in this moment, is that going to change how I keep my job or not? You know, really explore, like, what will this, and that's especially with fear, like, what does this fear or this worry serve me in this moment? What's it actually going to bring me? Because it's not going to get me, you know, it's only going to cause me more upset and unrest in this moment. But being very specific, like someone was saying about their job, or a bit specifically about affecting somebody else, you know, and being really specific about what that worry is for you. But we have this is such a huge subject, you know. What's worry for me would maybe touch you or someone else. It's the same kind of vice versa.
Great. And then I think what I'll do is when I post this one on YouTube, I'll just put these points in underneath that, you know, we've just named. And there's also a summary document that we sent out to some of you today. You will have received that, those who joined us last week. And we'll be doing more of this. So hopefully there'll be a chance for you to get more and more familiar with the practice. But I think at that point, unless there's anything else that you'd like to add, Hayley, my love.
That's all. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you. Any questions anyone has, everyone's welcome. Yeah, feel free to message me as well with any more queries that you might have, anything you might, if you're never unsure about anything, then I'm really happy to help. So
great. Thank you so much. Take care.
Great
Lots of love,
evening.
everyone.
Thank you.
Be safe, be well. Bye bye.